I have an awesome, free, amazing gift for you that is going to take everything to the next level by mastering the power of questions. Because we're constantly asking ourselves questions. Like if somebody asks themselves the question like, what do I need to do right now? That's a very different question than what is the highest and best use of my time right now that's going to generate the greatest return on investment. Is there a difference? A little bit or a lot? It's significant. So one of the most powerful tools to mastering is the questions that you're asking yourself. And I'm going to give you an amazing gift. So why is this teaching so essential? Is because, and studies show that we've been programmed. How many of you know we've been programmed? I mean, by the time a child is 8 years old, they've had over 25,000 hours of linguistic programming alone. This is like words downloaded into our mind, influencing our thoughts. And we get caught up in these programs. How many of you have ever been caught up in a program of not being good enough or not having what it takes or not having enough skill or not being ready? Who's been caught up in those stories? And who's focused in the past to those old stories? Tell me in the chats. Anybody ever fallen into that old mindset? A lot of that was programmed from early stages. Here's the awesome news, my friends. Even though we've been programmed, we are meta-programmable. What does that mean? That means we can recognize old programs, like, oh my gosh, what if I don't have what it takes? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm gonna fail? And we can step out of these old programs and we can observe it in a state of heightened awareness. We could gather new insights, new distinctions, new learnings, new discoveries. What's happening is that what's showing up is mirroring back to you. Your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own communication, your own language, your own identity. It's mirroring back to you. It's like this feedback loop. This is awesome news. I came here today to share the good news with you. Why is it good news? Because it means you have the power. You have the power to shift it. You have the power to shift your focus. You have the power to ask a better question. You have the power to change your physiology. You have the power to change your attention. You have the power. One of the most simple tools, one of the most simple and profoundly effective tool for mastering your focus is the power of questions. Let me ask you this. If you walked around with a recorder for a week and it recorded every single thing you said to others and yourself, or better yet, let's say that we could take this recorder and we could put it in your brain and it recorded every thought, every word, every question that you asked for a week. And then at the end of the week, we sit down in places, zero judgment, pure, authentic, unconditional love. We get curious. Can y'all get curious with me? Get curious, lean in, and press play. What is revealed, right? It's like, be authentic about it. Do you catch yourself championing your vision? Do you catch yourself being your biggest supporter? Or do you catch yourself talking about what isn't happening, bringing up doubts, fears, criticizing others, criticizing yourself, judging yourself? Or is it a combination, up and down, up and down? What if you knew that you create as you speak, that your word has that much power, that when you speak, you are literally speaking into existence? And that every cell in your body aligns with what you declare. What if there was no gap between vocalization and manifestation? What if there was no gap between vocalization and manifestation? Would you be more mindful? How many of you would be more mindful if you knew that the moment you said something, boom, it was gonna manifest? Oh my gosh, I feel so fat. Boom! Who can relate? There's power in our words. There's power in our declarations, language. So when we look at some of the most extraordinary leaders, and here's just a couple examples, the most extraordinary leaders that have walked the planet, here's just a few, they've asked very different questions. Walt Disney at the bottom asked, how do I create the happiest place on earth? Albert Einstein asked, what would happen if I wrote a light beam and completely revolutionized how we experience reality? The founders of Google asked, how do we organize the world's information? Elon Musk is asking, how do we make humanity an interplanetary species? He's asking, how do we get to Mars? So we are a galactic species. So the quality of our lives mirrors the quality of the questions we ask. And I've got an invitation for you. So write this down right now. I'm going to tell you what it is, and we're going to give you a link. I've got an event that's happening this Wednesday and Thursday, February 26th and 27th. It's called The Power of Questions. It's free. It's my gift to you. So in this 2-day session that I'm gifting you, I'm going to spend one full day focused on the questions that you ask yourself. How do you become very aware of questions that you're asking yourself that you may not even realize you've been asking, that have been influencing your focus, influencing your perception, influencing your direction? On day 2, I'm going to give you questions on how do you ask questions for others. Because isn't it true that anything that you could desire to accomplish, create, experience is going to require a collaborative relationship? relationships, and that these collaborative relationships are built on authentic communication, and that your ability to create collaborations is going to be directly proportionate to your ability to ask purposeful questions, ask the right questions that open doors of opportunity. So the quality of your life will mirror the quality of your questions. Your bank account would like to see more zeros on their bank account. Let's say in the context of business, how do you ask questions that cause your clients to focus on why they want to do business with you versus focus on why they don't? Is that valuable? Because you could ask a question to the client that causes them to focus in a direction that is not in alignment. So mastering focus is about mastering your focus. Secondly, it's about how do I master the art of communication? How do I master my communication skills, my presence, my way of being, so that my presence influences the focus of others for the greatest good? How do I become the next level person of influence? How many of you would love to be a person of influence with your kids? You can influence your kids' focus. Would that be valuable? It's not just what you're focusing on, you're communicating with your kids, so they're focused on helpful things that are good for them. Now we're talking about mastery and the power of questions.